Good morning. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Holy name, ocean of mercy, none different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, incarnated in sound, Kṛṣṇa. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kṛṣṇa. So we're reading chapter 44 from the Kṛṣṇa book, translated with commentaries from the 10th canto. And this is a summary study, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Krishna Chaitanya, founder Acharya of the International Society for Kṛṣṇa Consciousness. Hare Krishna. A lot of interruptions this morning. A lot of interruptions. Well, we'll just keep going. So, Hare Krishna. You know, early morning's the best time because interruptions are minimal. As the day wears on, there's more and more interruptions, and passionate activity, and then tired at night goes on into ignorant mode. And so early morning, really early, before the sun comes up, is really the least amount of interruptions for chanting and remembering Krishna. It's really the best time. So all the neighboring kings had fled in fear of Kṛṣṇa. They all took a hasty retreat and were hiding out of fear of Kṛṣṇa. But when Kṛṣṇa was killed by Krishna, they were reinstated, and everything began to flourish. Everyone was, even old people regained youthful energy, youthful strength, bodily strength. And all the necessities were fulfilled, all the material desires. Everyone was so satisfied. And they were in bliss and ecstasy when they would see Krishna and Balaram, who were sometimes walking around in Mathura. Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda were also living in Mathura because Krishna and Balaram were there. But after some time, they wanted to go back to Vrindavan. Krishna and Balaram went before them and very feelingly and affectionately embraced Nanda and Yasoda. And Krishna began to speak as follows. My dear father and mother, although I was born of Vasudeva and Devaki, you have been our real father and mother, because from our very birth and childhood, you raised us with great affection and love. Your affectionate love for us was more than anyone can offer one's own children. You are actually our father and mother, because you raised us as your own children at a time when we were just like orphans. For certain reasons, we were rejected by father and mother, and you protected us. My dear father and mother, I know you will be feeling separation by returning to Vrindavan and leaving us here, but please, rest assured, I shall be coming back to Vrindavan just after giving some satisfaction to my real father and mother, Vasudeva and Devaki, my grandfather, and other relatives and family members. Kṛṣṇa and Balaram satisfied Nanda and Yasoda by sweet words and by presentation of various clothing, ornaments, and properly made utensils. They satisfied them, along with their friends and neighbors who had come with them from Vrindavan to Mathura, as fully as possible. On account of his excessive parental affection for Balaram and Kṛṣṇa, Nanda Maharaj felt tears in his eyes, and he embraced them and started with the cowherd men for Vrindavan. So this is not so unusual or unheard of, that the parents that give birth to the child or children can't take care of them for one reason or another, and they're raised by foster parents. I have cousins that went through that situation. The father died when they were very young, and their mother had a nervous breakdown. She couldn't take, it was 4 children, she couldn't take care of them. She just, it was too much all at once. She couldn't take care of them. So they were raised for a little while in foster homes. I mean, that happens all the time. So it's not such an unusual situation that this would happen. What's probably unusual about it is that Nanda and Yasoda didn't know that they were playing the part of foster parents. They thought Yasoda had actually given birth to Kṛṣṇa. It was her natural born child, Kṛṣṇa. But there's a reason for that too, because Kamsa was on the lookout for any children born at that time, and thinking any one of them could be Kṛṣṇa, which he was determined to destroy. And so it had to be kind of like a secret that Kṛṣṇa was born of Devaki and Kamsa was waiting, and then so secretly they switched. It had to be secretly. But nonetheless, they were foster parents. And they were so attached to Kṛṣṇa, Nanda Maharaj felt tears in his eyes, and he embraced Kṛṣṇa and Balaram and started with the cowherd men for Vrindavan. Oh boy, what's it going to be like in Vrindavan without Kṛṣṇa and Balaram? Whoa, Hare Krishna. Oh my goodness, and they returned to Mother Yasoda and the girls, the cowherd girls, with no Kṛṣṇa and Balaram. Woo. After this, Vasudeva and his son initiated by sacred thread, had his son initiated by sacred thread as the token of second birth, which is essential for the higher castes of human society. Vasudeva called for his family priest and learned Brahmins, and the sacred thread ceremony of Kṛṣṇa and Balaram was duly performed. During this ceremony, Vasudeva gave various ornaments in charity to the Brahmins, and endowed them with cows decorated with silken cloths and golden ornaments. Previously, during the birth of Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, Vasudeva had wanted to give cows in charity to the Brahmins, but being imprisoned by Kamsa, he was unable to do so. He was able to do so only within his mind. With the death of Kamsa, the actual cows were given to the Brahmins. Then Balaram and Kṛṣṇa were duly initiated with the sacred thread ceremony, and they repeated the chanting of the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is offered to the disciples after the sacred thread ceremony, and Balaram and Kṛṣṇa properly discharge the duties of chanting this mantra. Anyone who executes the chanting of this mantra has to abide by certain principles and vows. This is the Brahminical mantra, and we have anyone who's chanting this Gayatri mantra has to follow certain vows and principles. Although Balaram and Kṛṣṇa were both transcendental personalities, they strictly followed the regulative principles. Both were initiated by their family priest Gargacharya, usually known as Gargamuni, the Acharya of the Yadu dynasty. According to Vedic culture, every respectable person has an Acharya, or spiritual master. One is not considered to be a perfectly cultured man without being initiated and trained by an Acharya. It is said, therefore, that one who has approached an Acharya is actually in perfect knowledge. Lord Kṛṣṇa and Balaram were the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all education and knowledge. There was no need for them to accept a spiritual master or Acharya, yet for the instruction of ordinary men, they also accepted a spiritual master for advancement in spiritual knowledge. It is customary, after being initiated in the Gayatri mantra, for one to live away from home for some time under the care of the Acharya in order to be trained in spiritual life. During this period, one has to work under the spiritual master as an ordinary menial servant. There are many rules and regulations for a brahmachari living under the care of an Acharya, and both Lord Kṛṣṇa and Balaram strictly follow those regulative principles while living under the instruction of their spiritual master, Sandipani Muni, in his place in northern India. According to scriptural injunctions, a spiritual master should be respected and be regarded on an equal level with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Both Kṛṣṇa and Balaram exactly followed those principles with great devotion and underwent the regulations of the brahmachari. And thus they satisfied their spiritual master, who instructed them in Vedic knowledge. Being very satisfied, Sandipani Muni instructed them in all the intricacies of Vedic wisdom, as well as in supplementary literatures such as the Upanishads. Because Kṛṣṇa and Balaram happened to be Kshatriyas, they were specifically trained in military science, politics, and mathematics. In politics, there are 6 departments of knowledge: how to make peace, how to fight, how to pacify, how to divide and rule, how to give shelter, etc. All these items were fully explained and instructed to Kṛṣṇa and Balaram. The ocean is the source of water in a river. The cloud is created by the evaporation of ocean water, and the same water is distributed as rain all over the surface of the earth, and then returns toward the ocean in rivers. So, Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are the source of all kinds of knowledge. But because they were playing like ordinary human boys, they set the example so that everyone would receive knowledge from the right source. Thus, they agreed to take knowledge from a spiritual master. After hearing only once from the teacher, Kṛṣṇa and Balaram learned all the arts and sciences. In 64 days and 64 nights, they learned all the necessary arts and sciences that are required in human society. During daytime, they took lessons on a subject from the teacher, and by nightfall, after having heard from the teacher, they were expert in that department of knowledge. First of all, they learned how to sing. First of all, they learned how to sing. First of all, they learned how to sing. how to compose songs, and how to recognize the different tunes. They learned the favorable and unfavorable accents and meters, how to sing different kinds of rhythms and melodies, how to follow them by beating different kinds of drums. They learned how to dance with rhythm, melody, and different songs. They learned how to write dramas, and they learned the various types of paintings, beginning from different village arts up to the highest perfectional stage. They also learned how to paint tilak on the face and make different kinds of dots on the foreheads and cheeks. Then they learned the art of painting on the floor with liquid paste of rice and flour. Such paintings are very popular at auspicious ceremonies performed at household affairs or in the temple. They learned how to make a resting place with flowers and how to decorate clothing and leaves with colorful paintings. They also learned how to set different valuable jewels in ornaments. They learned the art of ringing water pots. Water pots are filled with water to a certain measurement so that when one beats on the pot, different tunes are produced. And when the pots are beaten together, they produce a melodious sound. They also learned how to throw water in the rivers or lakes while taking bath among friends. They also learned how to decorate with flowers. This art of decorating can still be seen in various temples of Vrindavan during the summer season. It is called Pulabadi. The dais, the throne, the walls, and the ceilings are all fully decorated, and a small aromatic fountain of flowers is fixed in the center. Because of these floral decorations, the people, fatigued from the heat of summer season, become refreshed. So, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Compare this education system to what children are subjected to for around 12 years at the present moment in the U.S. Krishna. It's not much comparison. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. First of all, they learned how to sing and compose songs. First of all. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Trying to think, what did I learn first? Oh, I had to memorize the times tables. 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 4, 2 times... Memorize all of them. 12 times 2, 12 times 3, 12 times 4. Days and days and days of drilling and memorizing the times tables. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. What did they learn first? How to sing and compose songs. Learn to recognize favorable and unfavorable meters and accents. How to dance to different rhythms, play different drums to different tunes. Krishna, first of all. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Different education system. Different goal of knowledge.